Subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell icon to get the latest updates.
The Print Off the Cuff, presented by IIFL Wealth and Asset Management, powered by Raheja Corp, corporate partner AU Small Finance Bank, in association with global insurance brokers, Airline Partner, SpiceJet, in alliance with Indraprastha Apollo Hospitals.
Because you yourself don't come from a field of virology or
public health
or basic medical. No, public health, you've said that, you've been very honest to say that I'm not a person from public health, but I had enough people in public health to help me, which I think is honest. Otherwise, maine bola, in India, everybody's, I'm sorry to say this to a doctor, everybody is an ophthalmologist in the sense of being an eye specialist, right? I know everything, right? So he begins by saying that I'm not a public health specialist, but also virology, basic medical research, sort of non-directly, how do I put it? One has to be careful. Non-therapeutic work, not treating patients, non-clinical work. That was not your field.
True, but I was involved in a lot of clinical trials, clinical studies, and bedside clinical research in the cardiac cath lab, looking at effect. I mean, answering simple, mundane question that what does the chewing tobacco do to the arteries? So I did a small study looking at.
And what does it do?
It constricts the arteries. Even chewing tobacco, no world literature on chewing tobacco and coronary arteries. Smoking is available, but we said that fine, we are taking these people for an angiogram, and they are tobacco chewers. We took ethical clearance and all and made them take tobacco on the angiography table. And then did the angiogram 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes and found that the artery constricts. So chewing tobacco can be clot forming and block the arteries, can constrict the artery and spasm and angina, and can also promote the blockage of.
So in fact, a lot of India, particularly poorer India, there is no caution about chewing tobacco.
Yes, so I mean, we are getting diverted, but the 90% of the chewing tobacco in the world is in India, Bangladesh and Pakistan. 70% is in India. 1/3 of the population, adult population in India are tobacco consumers. And so that's a huge, big problem. And I think chewing tobacco is absolute no.
In fact, I let us digress because it's a good digression. It's a good digression at a time when we see on our most popular TV channels, cricket and all, superstars promoting something which is surrogate advertising for something like this. And does that worry you?
That is very important, that we have to stay away from tobacco in any form, whether it's smoked tobacco or chewing tobacco or shisha or those new hookahs or whatever.
All equally bad.
All equally bad.
So the cardiologist, Dr. Bhargava, came out and I got curious also. Thank you very much. Those are very good words of caution. So at which point did you think, or did your colleagues think, that we could develop an Indian vaccine, and that too is Sasta, Sundar and Tikau type? So you didn't have to start with 7 years of mRNA work.
Correct. That's a very important point, because my philosophy has always been frugal innovation and low cost innovation. I want India to be self-sufficient in its own vaccines and other drugs and everything for that matter. So from that perspective, all our colleagues had discussion that what could be the simplest method of doing it. We had just isolated the virus. This was, I think, 9th March or 13th.
You said we became the 5th country in the world.
Correct. You have done your homework well. So we just isolated the virus, and we said that we need to go by the classic method of making a vaccine. Killed virus, simple, time-tested technique that we have been using in the past, and we had collaboration with Bharat Biotech for the JE virus and the Japanese encephalitis. Japanese encephalitis vaccine. So they had the prowess and they had the capability to develop the vaccine. We had the capabilities to characterize the vaccine, look at its properties, test it in small animals, test it in non-human primates, and then help them with the clinical trial. And that was a good private-public partnership that probably is a good example for the future generations to follow.
Yeah. So people, India became the fifth country, and it will be interesting for us to know who the other four were. So they were China, usual suspect, because they were the first. They should have known it. China, America, Russia, and Thailand. So it wasn't one of the European countries. So that's an important highlight in the book. Uh, and we know that this is a whole killed virus vaccine is an old tried and tested method. It goes right back to the polio vaccine. So when did we think that we could try this with this wretched fellow?
No, this was once we isolated the virus. This was March, middle of March or so. We requested our colleagues at Bharat Biotech, Dr. Krishna Ella, and I have always held him in very high esteem, being a great scientist who did his PhD in the US and then worked there for many years, and then came back and set up this Bharat Biotech. And he's always been scientifically thinking, innovating, and full of energy. So from that perspective, I thought that he's probably the right man to work with. So we rang him up, we talked to him, and we said, we have the virus. Now it opens up a huge number of opportunities. We can develop a antibody test with this. We can develop monoclonal antibodies with this, and we can even develop the vaccine.
The Print off the Cuff, presented by IIFL Wealth and Asset Management, powered by Raheja Corp, Corporate Partner, AU Small Finance Bank, in association with Global Insurance Brokers, Airline Partner, SpiceJet, in alliance with Indraprastha Apollo Hospitals.